A 20-story apartment tower is about to go up in the middle of downtown Ann Arbor. That one project alone is worth $209.4 million, and it's one of about a dozen things breaking ground, opening up, or changing this town in 2026. Where is it happening, and what does it mean for house values if you are relocating here? My team and I spent some time digging through city planning documents, DDA project trackers, and permit filings to find every single one of these. I'm Jon Boyd, the managing broker at the Home Buyers Agent, and we only represent buyers here in Ann Arbor. We never list homes, never have a seller as a client. So, in this video, I'm walking you through the big developments reshaping downtown and the neighborhoods around it, brand new communities opening up right now if you're looking to buy, and events worth putting on your calendar later this year. Ann Arbor's population growth isn't only about the University of Michigan. Coherix, a company that builds artificial intelligence quality control systems for car manufacturers, just moved its North American headquarters into a new 25,000 square foot building on Oak Valley Drive, according to Crane's Detroit Business. That's almost double the space they had before, and the company says it's adding 10 to 15 new engineering and product development jobs over the next year. That might sound small next to a 20-story tower, but it matters more than people think. The Ann Arbor area is filled with technology employers tied to the automotive industry, and every one of those new hires needs somewhere to live. And a lot of them land in that $700,000 to $900,000 range where a lot of our relocation clients shop. So when you hear about a company adding 15 jobs, don't think small. Think about who's going to be house hunting here in 6 months and where the demand shows up first. And jobs aren't the only thing changing how people move around this city. Some of it's a whole lot more visible, like a bridge that's about to reshape how two neighborhood park areas connect. The city held a public meeting back in February of this year on the South Barton Pedestrian Bridge replacement project, and it's one of the few green space and connectivity projects currently moving through the pipeline this year. It's not a flashy project. There's no tower, no restaurant opening, no ribbon cutting schedule. But the projects like this raise the value of the houses closest to them, even if it takes a couple years to show up in the resale numbers. A bridge replacement where the city takes the time to consider the best way to build the bridge for the next 50 or 100 years, not just doing the cheapest thing or the fastest thing. I always tell relocation clients to pay attention to these smaller infrastructure projects, not just the big headline ones. Speaking of things that change how our neighborhood lives day to day, downtown just picked up 2 new places worth knowing about. If you want to walk down South Main Street right now, you'll find a new Asian fusion spot called Echelon at 200 South Main. It is in the previous location of the local Mongolian grill restaurant. If you are tied more to campus or the medical center area, the Vanguard, a new 6-story hotel near the University of Michigan Hospital, opened up 139 rooms and Ann Arbor's only 4-star rating, along with a French-inspired restaurant called Le Serre. Back to Main Street. It's a real dining destination that pulls foot traffic, which pulls retail interest, which eventually pulls housing demand right along with it. For anyone moving here who wants to walk to dinner instead of driving everywhere, that is exactly the kind of change worth watching. But dining and hotels aren't the biggest thing changing downtown. The way people actually get around downtown is getting an overhaul too. Right now, construction crews are tearing up streets around the Blake Transit Center, and there's a reason for it. Starting in May of this year, the Ann Arbor Downtown Development Authority began streetscape project tied directly to the transit center and to new housing project going up right next to it, according to the DDA's own project tracker. On top of that, there's a separate proposal moving through the city for a 19-story mixed-use residential building with ground floor retail, plus a smaller 7-story building with 38 condo units. So downtown isn't just getting one tower, it's getting a transit hub upgrade, new streets, at least 2 more residential buildings on top of everything else happening a few blocks over. And that brings us to the project that's actually driving a lot of this activity in the first place. Remember that $209.4 million number from the start of this video? Here's exactly what it's paying for. The Michigan Strategic Fund Board approved a plan in May of 2026 for a 20-story mixed-use tower at 350 South 5th Avenue. It'll have 330 units of affordable housing reserved for individuals and families earning between 30 and 80% of the area median income, plus over 6,500 square feet of commercial space. Crane's Detroit Business confirms a total capital investment of $209.4 million, making it one of the largest single developments the city has seen in years. Here's why this matters. If you're thinking about buying around here, downtown Ann Arbor's median sale price just hit $699,000 over the last 3 months, up a lot from the year before. A lot of those high-dollar homes are newly built luxury condos. What downtown is heating up faster than almost anywhere else in the city, and a project of this size, with this much public investment behind it, is a big part of why. When the state puts $209.4 million back behind a single block, that block and the streets around it tend to become the most talked about part of town for the next 5 years. Now, if you're weighing whether to buy downtown now or wait, this is exactly the kind of project that should factor into that decision. Downtown isn't the only place seeing new construction. If you're looking to actually buy a brand new home instead of competing for an older one, there are a few specific spots worth knowing about. Right now, there are 62 new homes for sale around Ann Arbor with a median listing price of $525,000, but the city overall is still competitive. Homes get an average of 2 offers and sell in around 35 days. One of the most interesting new housing projects coming to Ann Arbor isn't happening in a neighborhood at all. It's happening on a parcel that used to be zoned for industrial use. The Ann Arbor Planning Commission approved a rezoning in May 2026 for a piece of land on Varsity Drive, just north of Ellsworth, according to the WEMU, a local radio station. There's a wooded lot just north of the vacant AT&T building that was zoned limited industrial, and it's being switched over to 2 4-story buildings with 50 one-bedroom apartments. And it fits the city's push for more housing along Ellsworth Corridor transit route. What that means in plain terms is the city is actively rewriting its own rules to allow more housing in places that used to be off limits. That's worth watching if you're house hunting here, because it usually means more of this kind of rezoning is coming to other industrial corridors around town. Back to the Varsity Drive discussion. For renters and investors, a nice new transit-connected one-bedroom apartment near Ellsworth is going to rent fast. For buyers, it's a signal the south side of the city is opening up in ways it hasn't before. If apartments and a rezoned industrial lot don't fit what you're looking for, there are a few single-family and townhome communities worth knowing about too. Barton Ridge is a newer community of large, exclusive single-family homes built on larger half-acre lots. It's a kind of setting a lot of relocating buyers picture when they think about moving somewhere like Ann Arbor. More space, more trees, and still a reasonable drive into town. Some of the best new inventory is still classic single-family homes built on lots that weren't available 5 years ago. If you want something between a downtown apartment and a fully detached house, there's a townhome option worth knowing about too. Getty's Vista is actually 2 different communities being built side by side by Toll Brothers, aimed at 2 pretty different buyers. The Towns collection is townhomes with open living areas, lofts, and basements, built for people who want low-maintenance living without giving up space. Right next to it, the Preserve collection is single-family homes running 2,600 to 3,300 square feet. Having both collections built side by side means you can generally compare a townhouse with a full-size single-family home in the same location. We just helped a couple moving here from the East Coast make the comparison this spring. That first-floor primary bedroom option in the Preserve collection is a bigger deal than people expect. And if you're thinking about renting while your new construction home is being built, there's one more community worth noting. Dean's Yard on South State is a brand new upscale townhome community with each unit running around 1,900 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and a first-floor office or flex space built in. That built-in office is exactly what a lot of remote and hybrid tech employees relocating here are looking for. While these units are being sold, the developer is also offering rental arrangements in the mid $3,000 a month range, which might be a great option if you need to wait while you're having a new construction home built. You just walked through 4 different new construction communities, each one built for a different type of buyer relocating here. If you go into that sales office alone, you're paying full asking price on upgrades that were negotiable or missing clauses in the builder contract that only become critical after you sign a contract to purchase. Call or text me at 734-662-6240 and we'll figure out which community actually fits your timeline and budget before you sit down with a sales agent. If you're the type who wants to know what an area actually feels like before you move here, the local events calendar tells you almost as much as the housing data does. On October 31st, South University Avenue turns into one of the more popular Halloween spots in town, according to the local events calendar at thingstodoinannarbor.com. If you're relocating with children, or you just want a neighborhood with some actual foot traffic and personality instead of a quiet cul-de-sac, this is exactly the kind of local event that tells you what daily life feels like in that part of town. A few weeks earlier, Carytown does its own version of a fall event, and it's a bigger deal than people expect. Every October, the Carytown Farmers Market, which runs year-round, turns into a full harvest festival for a weekend. Cider presses run, heirloom apples and squash from farms around Michigan pile up on tables, folk bands play, and local crafts vendors set up around the market based on current events listings means for Ann Arbor. It's one of those events that's been going on long enough to become part of the identity of that part of town, not just a one-off. If you're looking at homes anywhere near Carytown, this is a good weekend to actually go visit and see what the neighborhood feels like when it's busy, not just on an average Tuesday afternoon. And if festivals like that are more your speed, the whole downtown turns into one for most of September. In September, several streets in downtown Ann Arbor close down completely and the area turns into something closer to a month-long block party. A2 Fall Streets runs from September 3rd through September 28th, with street closures every Thursday afternoon through Sunday, according to Main Street Ann Arbor. There's live music, outdoor dining, and local shopping set up right in the closed-off streets. Around the same time, A2 Artoberfest brings 90 juried artists to Ann Street and North 4th Avenue, stretching from here on into Carytown, according to the Ann Arbor Art Center. Between those two events, you've got almost an entire month of September where downtown is at its most active. But if you want to see Ann Arbor at its absolute loudest and most crowded, there's one event that dwarfs everything else on this list. Nothing changes the energy of this downtown like a Saturday in the fall when the Michigan football team is playing at home. The Wolverines have 8 home games in 2026, first season under new head coach Kyle Whittingham, according to University of Michigan Athletics schedule released in January. That includes all 4 non-conference games in September, starting with Western Michigan on September 5th, Oklahoma on September 12th, and UTEP on September 19th before the Big Ten opener against Iowa on September 26th. If you've never lived in a college town during football season, it's hard to explain until you've been here for it. Restaurants are full, hotel rooms booked months in advance, and the whole city runs on a different schedule for 8 Saturdays a year. If you're relocating here, this is generally worth factoring into your decision on where to live, because a house a mile from the stadium lives very differently on a fall Saturday than one 10 minutes farther out. That's exactly the kind of detail that doesn't show up on a listing but changes how you actually live here. We've covered a lot of ground here, from a $209.4 million tower downtown to a townhome community on South State with your name on it if you're in the $600,000 to $700,000 range. New construction sales offices work for the builder, not for you. That means you're walking in without anyone negotiating the price, the upgrades, or the contract terms on your behalf. Most buyers end up paying full price on upgrades that are often negotiable, or they don't know how to deal with quality control issues that only surface at the last minute. Well, call or text me at 734-662-6240. We only represent buyers here in Ann Arbor area, the Livingston County area, Western Oakland, and Western Wayne counties. We never list homes, so we walk into that new construction sales office together. We're the only ones at the table, loyal to you and working for you.